Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to tonight's race between baconpie and nitzguy1. I am Bakashinobi, and I am joined by BadKarma. How are you doing this evening, BadKarma?
I'm doing pretty well. Looks like we have an elimination match tonight between baconpie and nitzguy1. They are both in a hook route. They're currently at 0-1, and they are racing to stay alive.
Indeed. For the hook route, in order to go and advance to the table stage, you need to either have 3 wins to go and face off against all the other 3-0 players for one slot in the table. And then there'll be a second race with all the 3-0 runners who didn't qualify and all the 2-1 runners to go and get a shot at the tables. And both are runners with 1 loss each. They're fighting hard to go and get 2 wins now. And after that point, the hopes of advancing is going to be gone. So this is a do-or-die race for our runners tonight. We have 4 objectives. We need to only complete 3 of them. Oh, wow. Look at these objectives. The adamant. Complete Antlion nest is very doable without anything. Complete Mountain Ordeals is very doable without anything. Defeat the Baron Castle basement. You need the Baron key and you need to be able to beat that rather hard fight.
Yeah, 3 overworld checks there. A lot of people can get these done really early, depending on where the Baron key is. We are still going to need a path to the moon, though, to make sure that we can actually get to Zeromus, whether that's the pass or the Darkness Crystal.
Indeed, and we do have a Palom start, who I like that character. He doesn't start off with the amazing spells, but in a pinch, bluffing the level 1 spells can get you through that Antlion cave, and when you get through Antlion cave, you'll have enough experience on Palom to get him his level 2 spell, and that lets you carry through a lot of the overworld.
Yeah, and with how early Palom's going to get Virus and Quake, these overworld checks are not going to take these runners very long, especially if they can find a couple other people to go along with them.
I say, who would you want to go and start with Palom in this opening pair?
Everybody's going to pick Edge here. I'd honestly take a Sid or a Kane as well. While Kane doesn't start off really good, he has a wide range of weaponry that he'll be able to use.
How do you feel about Tella as a starting partner?
Tella's not a bad starting partner. It allows for a lot of early looting because of that exit spell. I wouldn't hate it. It also just confirms that there's going to be a Tella and a Seed, or maybe 3 again.
Yeah, very true. And Tella, if we find the Darkness Crystal, enables a grind, so if we go and get a very fast seed, we might go and want to do a very fast grind. And while Cyrus can be found in shops, Steam Machines is a reliable standard grind that you can do very cheaply.
Yep. And as the runners get off, we will see who they get to start with. What do you look for in the first key item here? What do you think they're hoping?
I think they're hoping for a Magma key, just to go and get a few more checks open. Ooh, that Earth Crystal, however, you're talking about early looting, that's a lot of loot. That, on these T-Wildish flags, when you go and have the Earth Crystal, that Earth Treasury is weighted much higher.
Yeah, and while we only have 60% of our chests filled, that treasury is still going to be nice. Could find maybe a couple Stardust Rods for 2 Paloms to start off with.
Stardust Rods, Sorcerer Robes. If you find the Crystal Sword in there, how many Cecils do you take?
5!
You only have 1 Crystal Sword.
I only needed to pair with 1 Avenger. Well, 4 Avengers, sorry.
Yeah. But there's, I can definitely see wanting that, Cecil after seeing that. We haven't seen any Cecils yet, but we are just going to go and get our first character check on this guy's side, while baconpie is going straight to that treasury.
And we're going to get an early game of rate that treasury.
Well, we need to rate the treasury. We see Rosa in the Watery Pass. That is a character I like seeing. Not going to do a lot for offense without some gear, but Rosa is the best white mage in the game.
Artemis Bow, Power Robe, sitting in there with the white.
Wow, that's an early treasury. So the Artemis Bow, the Power Robe, the White Spear. I mean, the bandana stands out just because it really goes and fills out the melee kit for Kane, and Then we also have that Bahamut summon. We have a lot of characters who just got a lot more valuable thanks to that treasury.
A little bit of something for everybody in there.
Agreed. No crystal source though, and no Avengers, so not going to go and drive people to Cecil yet. I think our runners are going to be a bit hesitant about Cecil for now.
So Nitzguy just picked up a glass hat. There was also another one there in the treasury.
That glass hat is a very good piece of gear. If you didn't see in the vanilla game, there's a good reason for it. It's a drop from the evil mask. And in Free Enterprise, we go and just incorporate all the loot in the tables, and they can go and be anywhere. It is a high tier item, so it's a very rare find even in this Watery Pass with higher grade loot. But with all the defense it gives, it makes it a very helpful piece of equipment.
Yeah, and especially with the number of early overworld objectives we have that we got to complete, whoever's going to be wearing those glass hats is not going to be taking a lot of damage. As there's the ninja.
Oh, definitely enjoying that ninja pickup. Oh my. Baconpie is going to have a very good melee team. Kane usually starts out a little weak compared to Edge, but when you have a white spear, a power shirt, a bandana, you can make Kane work pretty well.
Yeah, Baconpie, if Baconpie heads to that Watery Pass, gonna get that Rosa, that's an in-game party right there.
Yeah, I think you, at that point, I think you even kill off one of your Palums to let them anchor, because Palom is not an exceptionally speedy character. And yeah, sure, the high tier spells are nice, but the that whole doing lots of damage with melee fighters is going to be even better.
As Nitzguy finds the Karate Man at the top of Dance Stand. A lot of punchy characters in this seed.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of good melee damage coming, though Yang is definitely not my preferred character on these flag sets with so much good gear around. I want a melee fighter who scales with that gear, and Yang is not that. Yang just only scales with his levels, really.
I agree with you. I like Yang, but only if you can really slingshot him, get him later on in the seed. Getting him this early, he's not going to help you all that a lot. But Nitzguy has not gone to that treasury. That power shirt on Yang would really help him out.
I definitely don't disagree with that, though. Maybe Nitzguy's thinking, well, whatever is here, I can go and deal with Antlion. It's an objective. Let's not go and dilly-dally on this. Setting up Rosa with a power staff, which very high accuracy weapon, doesn't have a very high attack power, but it does give 10 strength, which makes it a pretty good early shillelagh for the beginning of the seed.
Yeah, with Antlion only having, I think it's 800 health, a couple bonks with the power staff, and that objective should be complete.
Yeah, I always go and aim to do 1,000 damage here because I don't think we're really going to have to worry about it too much. Especially since this spot doesn't have high match power or high attack power, so it's a great first stop. And meanwhile, Baconpie is continuing to go and check shops, is just looking around. This in the Mysidia is in Mysidia and just going and checking. I think this guy is finding the Antlion cave is pretty barren. Okay, finding 3 chests here and a moon veil, which is a rather nice.
And a heroin robe.
Alright, so the heroin robe is a great piece of equipment because it gives plus 15 to attack, to strength, agility, and vitality, minus 15 to your casting stats. But if you're Rosa and you only have Cure 1 as an effective healing spell, you really don't mind not having any good casting stats.
Combined with an Artemis bow, I believe, from the treasury. There's another edge on Ordeals.
That's, honestly, this is a little awkward. Just because we don't have any way to back row, so you have to go and set up your party. So yeah, you have your 3 edges, your 3 melee fighters in the front, the 2 black mages in the back, and we don't have any good weapons for Edge at this point. These short swords are fine, but speaking of fine, hey, there's a nice find in that Threemus in the Antlion cave. When you go and beat Threemus in these fights, because we have the no free key item turned on, if you go to Mist and find Viridia's mother, you will go and get a key item, which can be very helpful.
Yeah, and considering we are 2 items away from go mode, getting the double value in Antlion, especially with it being a required Antlion, is going to be really nice for these runners. Who ordered the jet seed?
Me. Go and give other people jet seeds. and the Sand Ruby. So that opens up a character in Kaipo, should we go and desire to pick them, though. But the characters we've seen, I think the only one I'd really want is Tella.
Yeah, Tella would be a really nice pickup with, these edges, the cane.
Meanwhile, baconpie finds Odin on the first slot of Ordeals, and baconpie has found the remains of Odin on the first slot of Ordeals. Quick fight, didn't really have a chance there, unfortunately.
Running back, taking the safety save. I don't know how many times within these flags in the tournament we've had a Valis at the back attack spot here.
Bigon's not bad. Bigon's going to be
not here.
At most a nuisance. You have Edge to go and cast Flame to take out the arms. Kane is going to be able to go and, if you're worried about Rose, jump and hit the main body and do extreme amounts of damage. This is going to be a pretty manageable fight with the current team.
This guy going to turn in that D-miss check and going to be rewarded with a hook.
Do we have a hook seed? Are we going to have a not-so-jet seed?
I would say even with the hook route, with the party that we've got and the early treasury, we'd have to get something really rude in that hook route to make it not still be jetty.
Do I hear a Kanaizu hook? Let's hear a Kanaizu hook.
Paid man at the king-queen spot?
Ooh, I like how you think. Ooh, and finally a Dwarf Axe and an Ice Claw. The Elemental Claws are very helpful because Yang can go and equip them, and his claws don't increase damage, but they do add elemental affinities to his attacks, which is pretty helpful sometimes, because some enemies are 4 times weak to certain elements, and that can be a big boost.
So if you're baconpie, you're skipping Antlion because you figure it's an objective. I'm going to go there anyway. Not going to get that hook. Do you go and do that hook now, or do that Antlion now? Oh, gold bus.
I don't see a good reason not to do Antlion early. My ideology for doing Overworld, especially when I have a beefy team like baconpie does, is clear out Ordeals, Antlion, Baron in as early as possible. Just get those taken care of. And if I find a Magma key, let's go underground, clear those checks, and then go to Fabul, because if you can double up on that Sheila 1 check and the Fabul check, saves you a bit of walk, and it full heals you afterwards. You're in fighting fit. Great thing to go and have. At this point with seeing that hook, I think you just clear everything, because if there's a Magma key out here, you don't want to go and get caught doing the hook route when you don't have to.
Yeah, I'd agree. We have Golbez here. Golbez can't gate the path on the ground, even though it just gives some diamond armor.
Yeah, and it looks like one of the characters had a ribbon, because ribbon goes from protecting against that instant death demolish attack. So now Edge is going to go and have... Edge is a pretty speedy character. This is not a very fast spot, and I don't think this has extremely high magic power. So baconpie should be able to get through this without too much trouble. Only needs to do about 1,000 damage.
And gets a full heal afterwards.
Yes, that's a really annoying thing about Gold. Okay, yes, 167 damage virus. This is going to be not the worst thing to happen.
This guy sold the Bahamut summon that he found.
This guy...
Not planning to take Rydia, sounds like.
Dragon God is good, but Rydia takes extra experience to go and get to new casting levels compared to Hallam, and when you go and dismiss the character on these flags, you can't get them back, which is a very, very difficult thing to go and choose around how you want to build your parties. Because when Nitzguy goes to Mystidia and heads up Ordeals, he's going to be given the rather difficult choice of, I have a lot of great characters and a lot of great equipment for my characters. Who do I get rid of?
Doesn't have a lot of great gear for those ninjas yet, though, but long blades and ninja swords can usually be found pretty easily in the shops. That looks to be Porum in the bed.
It looks to be a twin that we don't need, especially with Rosa in the team.
No need to waste time with the cutscene. Just let them keep on sleeping.
Yep. Keep napping, kid. Keep napping.
Baconpie flying around the world. Gonna do the back of the Watery pass.
This guy checking the armor shop, finding elven bows, but I don't think he picked up one, or maybe I missed buying one. Either way, nitzguy. So we have the information that Ordeals, while required, is not going to give any form of progression. We haven't seen Baronin, we haven't seen Fabul, and Baconpie still has to go and do the Antlion cave, but is currently looting the back of Watery Pass, so we'll see if they're going to pull anything else good out of here. Finding a lot of empty chests, and probably not feeling good about walking so far and getting just one more item.
Yeah, and those palms don't have warp, can't get back that way, so having to double back is really time consuming in that. As nitzguy finding the edge in the cane, drops one of the palms.
Surprised he didn't drop Yang, to be entirely honest, just because Yang is a pretty slow character to go and get going.
Once nitzguy heads up Ordeals, I would expect that Yang drop to happen real fast.
I don't blame you. Agonizing as to what to go and throw on that Yang as well, or that Edge. Going and giving him the power shirt rather than giving it to Kane.
Yeah, I'm also a fan of the ninja armor. I know a lot of people will just take it and sell it. The one thing I like about getting ninja armor for Edge is I can take his black belt and put it on somebody who can't use that ninja armor.
That is a very valid point of going and using that ninja armor. It is extremely high defense as well. It's, if you ever want to be amused, go take a solo Edge with a ninja shirt and fight a behemoth, and watch him do just barely triple-digit damage sometimes, or miss a lot.
Yeah, that 3 agility, while it's not going to raise Edge's attack, it will raise the speed, and then the physical defense and the magic defense on the ninja jammies are nothing to scoff at.
Hey, every 16 agility is 1 attack multiplier that still goes and turns into be something. Yes, I have gone and sat down and mapped that out sometimes, where I'll look at a Murasame, +5 strength, -5 agility, put it on, check my multipliers, take it off, check my multipliers.
That's a lot of math that I can't keep my eyes straight on.
I let the game do it. I just go and read the multipliers. I don't go and actually do them. This guy's selling a charm rod as well. He does only have 1 palm, so that does make sense. Now that I see that there are 2 charm rods in his inventory.
So I feel like that we are going to be probably same team, considering got the Rose, we got 1 palm, we're going to have 2 edges and a cane.
I think that's that's a really hard team to say, yeah, one of these characters is bad, I shouldn't go and keep them. And our runners are trading locations. Baconpie is going to Antlion Cave, nitzguy is going and checking Mount Ordeals, and the Chocobo Forest as well, finding the Chocobo Forest is empty. There is 1 item in there, and it's a pretty high tier item for, well, it can be a high tier item with this T-Wildish setup.
And while our runners are retreading some ground, I do want to take a shout out to our restreamer Smapney and our tracker Couch24 or 23, sorry. Please give them a follow, and also to my co-commentator Bakashinobi for joining me in the booth tonight.
And thank you, BadKarma. Want to go and shout out people for helping us put on these shows, and shout out to our runners as well. If you want to go and see more of Free Enterprise, follow these runners and you'll definitely get to see more.
Also, if you're watching and think, hey, this is kind of interesting, I'd like to maybe give it a try, check out the Free Enterprise Discord. That'll have all of the information that you need to get going. Community is very helpful. We'll answer any questions for you. So give it a try out. Ask questions and look forward to maybe seeing you in a future event.
Indeed, it is a very fun randomizer. It's when I go and play a fair bit myself, and it's really nice community as well. Lots of helpful people. And speaking of being helpful, Baconpie has helped himself to another objective. That's objective number 2 for Baconpie. 1 more and he will have a crystal. Still no visibility on a path to the moon or to Zeromus in the form of either the Darkness Crystal or the Pass. But we still have still have a lot of the world to go. Overworld can still go and give up another 2 key items, and then we have the hook route to open up the underworld. baconpie seems to be going in, hesitating, and seems to be choosing to go south to Baron Inn. They were briefly flying towards Rahool Castle, which is the other check we have left.
It's not a bad play. You know, you're thinking, oh, by Hobbs, let's go fly past there, go to Fabool. But baconpie probably's like, I have the hook, so I know I got a path underground. Maybe we can make this a one-trip stop to Fabool.
baconpie doesn't have the hook yet. He needs to go to Mist Village in order to
that's right.
that out.
My apologies on that.
Very easy to deal and forget that D-Mist. I have done it plenty of times. I've been very salty as many of the times I've done it as well.
Yeah, chat correcting me. Chat correcting me. It was the Sand Ruby and Antlion. D-Mist has the hook.
Yes. Which vanilla sand ruby, which only gives one of the twins, which they don't really have a space on this team.
Finding a free fight here in the Baron Inn, though.
Rubicon going and showing off their wonderful leg, and Bahamut going and showing off their ability to count. Unfortunately, this spot is pretty slow, and Bahamut needs 5 turns to go and cast Mega Nuke. I don't think he's going to get 5 turns.
Yeah, not with 2 edges and a cane swinging away.
No, this is a bit unfair. And down goes Bahamut, so we have to go and see what item we get from here. And do you take the Sid here?
I don't think so. As much as I like Sid, Sid definitely goes on the downturn later in the game. His role is covered by that cane and 2 edges for sure. As an adamant is found.
Adamant is one half of objective number 1. We need both the adamant and the legend sword in order to forge that legend sword. So we are 1 item away from a crystal and another item away from access to Zeromus. baconpie is probably feeling a bit of jitters at the moment, because this overworld is definitely going and showing there's a good chance that we're going to be going to Zeromus very quickly this seed. And meanwhile, this guy's going to go and get the news that, hey, it's Diamond Armor on Mount Ordeals, and it's Golbez here as well, so let's go and have a grand time.
Yeah, so the one problem with the Jet Seed, especially depending on where Sirens are, where are you going to do your grind? A lot of options when you don't have the Moon, you don't have Tella, you don't get Darkness Crystal until later. Where are you going to get that grind? Where are you going to get those levels at? And our runners are probably hoping that Siren is in the shop, or they're just going to steal them from Babel.
Yeah, Edge being able to go and steal Sirens from the alerts and the trap chest of Lower Babel is a big thing for these teams. That's something I can go and see our runners being very keen on going, and it's just, do you grab them right when you get down? Do you wait until you get go mode? I figure you go and grab a few when you get down that, well, if you go through the hook route, you might have enough levels to skip getting any Sirens and be able to clear out the underworld, though Hallam really wants 100,000 experience in order to go and cast Warp in Dwarf Castle, because we have to work the Warp glitch on.
Yeah, going to Dwarf Castle with these flags, we do have the Warp glitch, which will allow our runners to complete the Dwarf Castle and immediately steal the item from the bottom of the Steel Cave without having to go down there. They won't be worrying about a D-Mist lurking at the bottom of Steel Cave either, since we've already seen her. Definitely don't want to be going there without Palom and Warp, unless we can find a Tella.
Yep, and baconpie is finding Kenazo at Fabool Defense. That is 1 root boss out of the pool. Very helpful for baconpie. And meanwhile, nitzguy1 has gone and finished off Ordeals and is going to be going and getting out of here, completing objective number 3, and is probably going to be heading off to either Fabool or Baron Inn. Though maybe they just decide to dive hook, as they want to get underground as soon as possible.
It's a bold play. It definitely depends on if baconpie finds the Magma key here. That will be determined if diving that hook early will be the way to go.
Yeah, that is going to be a very big point of interest here. What do we get from this Fabool defense? It's a rat tail. The mystery deepens, and now Baconpie knows that I need to go and check Threemus. He may have forgotten that he's already defeated Threemus and may go looking for them, as I have done in the past.
We've all done it.
Finding an Aegis shield as well. I really like that Aegis shield, to be 100% honest. It is a great piece of equipment. Gives mage resistance, which doubles your defense against mage ship enemies, and it goes and protects against Petrify, which is very helpful against certain bosses.
Yeah, not many people know about the mage defense on the Aegis shield. They typically bypass it for something with a little bit more defense, but it's saved my bacon a few times.
It is a very, very useful piece of equipment in my book. It's probably my preferred shield. Though I'd like to go and have both Aegis and the Dragoon shield for the 2 types of defense. Though I have to get very desperate in order to go and want the third, well, one of the third types of defense you can get from the ice shield of the reptile defense. There are no reptile type bosses, so no one will actually care about that unless you're very desperate against a very rude Baron in Alt Gauntlet.
This guy finding the leg. Baconpie battling the inventory boss.
Inventory is a really mean boss, and Baconpie is looking to go and buy something. Ooh, I'm guessing they're buying a mute knife.
A mute knife is a huge upgrade for Edge, considering we have not found any other ninja swords. They have the same attack power as a long blade.
They do have reduced accuracy, but they also go and do quadruple damage to mages, which is a very handy thing to do, as on this hook route, there's a trap chest that our runners like to do, that is 4 Mad Ogres. In Japanese, it's a pun that sounds like Mad Ogres or Mage Ogres, so they are both ogres and mages. So that mute knife will do bonus damage against them.
Also, we still haven't seen the Baron Guards, Asura, or the Magus Sisters yet. All of those are weak to those mute knives.
Yep. And now we see that nitzguy has gotten their adamant, and Baconpie is now going off and going to be looking around, and they are heading to Mist. So they're remembering that they have killed the Mist Dragon. This is going to give them their path underground, and they'll probably give us our first look at that rat tail item.
The rat tail item, we do still have the Earth Crystal that can go up Zot.
Oh, right. I keep forgetting about actually going up Zot, because my brain says go up Zot. No, we're not going up Zot. Zot is a long check that has 2 bosses, multiple cutscenes, 2 characters, and more cutscenes. I personally don't like going up there ever.
If you're not feeling that hook route, though, it's still another chance for a Magma key. And with the party we got in the boss levels on Zot and a Cane, could find a Valvalis, which may be gating the Magma key.
Or we could find a Valvalis at the hook route, and that would go and tell us that, yes, there's definitely forward progress at Zot. Which I would also find rather hilarious.
Yeah, Baconpie, before making any of those decisions, going with the ideology of check your freebies. Gonna go raise that hovercraft, knowing he's gonna need it for a hook route, but also to hopefully turn in that rat tail.
Yes, that's Baconpie skipping this is something that nitzguy did early. I'm a fan of going and unmooring my hovercraft early, just so I don't have to go and ask, where's my hovercraft?
We play a lot of games here in Free Enterprise. Dude, where's my hovercraft is not one you ever want to play.
It gets really confusing because there's only one of the 3 places you should ever be. At Damsine, where you unmoor it, near Silvera, so you can get to the Adamant Grotto, near Eblin, so you can go and get to Cave Eblin. If it's somewhere else, you may have done something silly like brought it with you to the underworld.
Baconpie fighting the long-lost karate master, crying over somebody else's girlfriend.
Look, he's attuned to the disruption of harmony in the world, right? That's what monks go and worry about.
That's what I was always taught.
Well, this monk is just thinking by his side that, yes, the monk can stay here and keep training here. There's no room in the party for the punch mage. Nitzguy also agonizing over those mute knives, and don't blame him. 10,000 gold is pretty hard to go and part with at this point, and Nitzguy spent a lot of money on silk webs and vampires. Vampires being a single-use item that casts Drain for a few hundred points of damage. Pretty helpful item, though they are about to go and get kind of outscaled as we go down this hook route.
Yeah, it's interesting going with the vampires now. I didn't see how many. Maybe thinking with how Jetty the Siege is possibly being, could be thinking low-level strats for Zeromus.
That is true. There is a recently with this tournament strat came up with where you go and deal with Zeromus by getting him to reflect nukes off of Starvells that you throw up, and one of the great items to use to get him to cast those nukes is a vampire. But that might be a bit far out, so we're going to go and keep seeing where we are. Ooh, and Baconpie finding a curse ring in the Silvera shop.
Always a great pickup.
Minus 15 to all stats might sound awful, and it's not the fact that the curse ring can turn your resist into absorbs, it's the fact that minus 15 to your agility is a pretty helpful thing when it comes to anchoring. And the rat tail turns into just a defense or great weapon for Kane. Shame we only have one of them. And otherwise, that's confirmation that it's either Zot or the hook route. Which do you go down?
Ooh, that's the... I would say 8 times out of 10, you probably go ahead and go down that hook route. But there is that chance that Zot is could be getting more progression.
Yep, Zot could go and have your Magma key. Zot could have a Baron key. Zot could have a Legend sword. Those are 3 things that would be weighing on me a bit. And it looks like they're weighing on Baconpie as they are heading back to Toria, and I believe we're going to see them go up the Tower of Zot.
There's a number of key items that Zot could have before going down the hook that would make things a little more convenient if it has a tower key. That way you can just go ahead and drop in the tower. The pan would be nice there. Legend sword, as we said. Baron key would be nice. Darkness crystal.
Darkness crystal would be interesting because we don't have Tella and no sirens yet. If you're truly desperate for a grind, you could go into the Giant of Babel, find the last arm chest, and try and go and steal sirens off that. But that is not going to be a very fast proposal just because the last arm chest... Magnet looks to go and cast the Magnet spell, which does a very long stop on a character.
I don't know how many times I've been stop locked by that thing.
For important characters, you can go and reflect it back, so it might be worthwhile to throw Starvells up on your edges so that if Last Arm gets any ideas about stopping Edge, Edge plays the reverse Uno no you card.
Haven't found Thunderclaws yet, so that would be something interesting that would make that last arm fight a little bit longer without those.
I agree, though. I think you're spending more of your time just trying to steal the sirens. And speaking of stealing, Baconpie is stealing a glance at what's at Zot, while Nitzguy is just going straight down the hook path, not going to Zot.
Now, if there is anything of value in Zot, even if it's not the Magma key, Nitzguy, whatever Nitzguy finds through this hook route is it's gonna take him a while to get back to Zot.
I agree. This is very easy to go and say, I don't want to come back here ever. Also, we find sirens for sale, and we find coffins for sale. That is a great thing. Nitzguy sells the defense sword to go and finance some purchases here. Hard to disagree with this, though. I prefer the defense sword over the White Spear. White Spear might have 1 more point of attack power. Defense sword has 10% more accuracy, which is very relevant in these damage calculations.
Had 2 sets of crystal gloves that they could have sold. I would have probably dumped those before the defense sword myself.
The answer question from chat. Why are coffins and sirens so good? Siren for egg farm, coffins cast fatal on any enemy. There are a number of enemies that are immune to instant death, but it is very helpful to go and have those around. They're great for jumpstarting an egg grind where you don't have enough damage to kill them in one shot and you want to avoid the hatch. They're also good because we have a number of bosses who are not immune to instant death. It includes bosses like the Kaipo guards, the Baron guards, the Dark Imps. All of those can go and be killed with coffins, and that can save you a significant amount of time if they're in a high HP spot. Also, there are grinds that we can go and do where going down that hook path, those Mad Ogres are not immune to instant death, and we can kill them with coffins to make things a bit more safe.
Not sure if you picked that up. Flame Dog had another defense sword.
Well, we're glad to see that the Flame Dog was a guard dog today. Didn't go and do it so well, though.
baconpie, if I'd impaled them, I was actually hoping it would be a wyvern to, really increase the chance for that Magma key to be here.
All right. baconpie finds the second defense sword that he has equipped on his cane. nitzguy finds the second white sphere that he's got equipped on his cane.
Also found ninja blades for sale, so I'm sure that white spear is probably going to get sold.
This guy is, I have very valuable weaponry. Let me sell it and buy other valuable weaponry.
This is 3-card Monty, but with equipment.
Ninja swords are Edge's best sword. Well, one of his best swords. Best sword you can buy. They have the third highest attack and they have +5 strength. They're debatably better than the Edge's second best sword, the Murasame, which also gives +5 strength but gives -5 agility, which can be very harsh in a number of situations.
As baconpie gets to the pale dim, this guy finds the sailman chest.
And this guy is looking through his inventory for something. I'm wondering, throwing an hourglass to Leaf Staleman cannot be coffined. They are immune to the instant death, so not going to pop any of his coffins on those. But good old-fashioned damage is going to win the day in this fight.
And I know I personally tried to take these down really early, and that sleep touch is nothing to ignore.
Yeah, it's a really it's a 1-2 punch combo when they go and knock you out and then just keep knocking you over.
Octomammoth is going to be hanging out in the dwarf castle later.
And a second cane in his vanilla location in the Tower of Zot. Do you take him? Because baconpie does have 2 defense swords. He can kit out that cane if he dishes an edge. He can go and... We have been... Smapey, you're supposed to randomize the characters.
Now if this is Valval.
Choosing not to take the second cane or the second Rosa.
Yeah, the second Rosa, you don't need to. The second cane is definitely a toss-up. baconpie just figures there's a lot of seed left. Probably going to find some weapons eventually for his edges.
True, though I'm a fan of the bird in the hand is better than two in the bush mentality, where I already have defense sword is arguably Kane's best weapon. That's something he can really do good work with. Though Edge with ninja swords can go and do equal work, and Edge can steal, which could be pretty helpful. Answer a question from chat. It is the back dolls, the dark blue Kel dolls that do not have the boss bit.
Yeah, those not familiar, when you kill enough of these dolls, if they are an uneven number, 2 blue, 1 red, 2 red, 1 blue, sort of thing, they can combine and form a big doll. We're not going to see that today.
Ooh. Only one type of doll. Ooh.
Of the things you want to see in a hook route.
So, those are the Dark Imps. They are not immune to instant death. You can go and throw those coffins that are conveniently for sale in Evelyn Castle, or in Evelyn Cave, on those Dark Imps and get through this fight very easily.
Not to mention we have the life glitch on, so throwing a life on one that was just killed as baconpie was rewarded with a white robe. Zot not required.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. This guy choosing not to take the second Rosa as well. I'm going to say that I actually think for Nitzguy, the second Rosa is a big boon. My reason being, he has a heroine robe, he has an Artemis bow. Rosa can go and do good damages as Berserker, but more importantly, she'll learn the spell Berserk, and she will be a second source of Berserk for the team. if this guy wants to have Berserk, he'll either need to go and have Rosa casting whenever her turn comes up, which would mean she's not healing whenever her turn comes up, or he has to get Bacchus wines either by stealing it from Mad Ogres or finding it in a shop, which I do not believe he has seen in a shop so far.
Yeah, you can make the argument either way. Palam's going to have a little bit more AoE clearing, not helpful in the Mad Ogre fight due to their high magic defense. But for a number of other fights, Palam could be more beneficial by doing 3,000-4,000 damage a hit. But Rose will be faster with the Heroine Robe and Artemis Bow and Berserk. So it's kind of a toss-up, and really it's going to just be on personal preference.
I agree, though. We definitely want to keep the Palam, but chat is telling me that this guy did sell the Artemis Bow, which he did buy a lot of nice things, so he is going and financing it, and the Meat Knife coming in handy against these Mad Ogres, as it is doing quadruple damage against these mage-type ogres.
Yeah, and Palam has a Charm Rod. Palam's second best stat stick, so he's not going to be hurt by not taking it and by selling that bow.
Yeah.
And stealing the Bacchus wines.
Also, Palam does go, and we want someone who goes and cast Warp, because we had the Warp glitch on, and there have been getting rid of your last Palam is a bit of a dicey proposition. Also, baconpie finding another white shirt in a trap chest in Castle Evelyn.
I'm not really in agreement with baconpie diving into Evelyn here. If you had not done Zot, and maybe, didn't have two edges. Oh, Stardust Rod in the Mad Ogre chest. I think baconpie is just costing himself some time here. The trap chests are nice. They give a lot of good XP. They can give a lot of good items. But I don't think you necessarily need them to get through this hook route. Even if it was somebody a little bit more rude than the Dark Imps.
Knowing that it's Dark Imps there, this is definitely not going to go and help baconpie too much, unless we have a very rude Dark Knight Cecil at King Queen Evelyn or some other very mean boss there, because nitzguy is currently looking like he's going to be able to walk through this hook route, but that King Queen Evelyn boss can just really turn things around very quickly.
A number of rude things that could be there. Evil Wall, Dark Knight Cecil, the Pain Man, as we like to call him, because he just brings the pain. Power Shirt.
Well, that's a nice pickup, especially for that Edge who has the Edge with a ninja sword and a Meat Knife. Yeah, they're going to do a bunch of damage. Also, answer a question from chat. Is there a difference between Size and Toad? Yes. Toad is basically a combination of both Piggy and Size. Piggy goes and prevents you from casting spells and using special abilities. Size goes and prevents you from doing any appreciable physical damage and makes you double weak to physical damage, which is very helpful sometimes. It brings your defense down to the minimum, and it goes and makes you extra vulnerable to physical attacks. Toad will go and do both of those at the same time, which means you'll take out any spellcasting ability against something that is not immune to Toad, and you'll go and increase the damage they're taking and bring their damage down to 1. And finding Dr. Luke here, this is more of a cutscene boss than anything, because Dr. Luge's second form is dangerous with HP. Dr. Luge's first form is dangerous when it has some HP at all. And with the 6,000 HP split between 4 different entities, I believe we're going to go and see this fight taken care of very quickly. We will go and get the big doctor turning into Belknap Z. What happens when you kill Belknap, but not the doctor. And now we get the second fight of, well, Dr. Luge. And now we're going to go and see the real fight and Dr. Luge's real nice makeover. Okay, maybe not so nice makeover.
A lot of people wonder, why is his skeleton so much bigger in this form? Nobody knows. He is half robot at this point.
Yeah, this is the first phase. He does not go and have a robot weakness. In this fight, he does have the robot racial type and takes quadruple damage from things like hammers, thunderclaws, and lit arrows.
Is going to be poisoned all the way through this, but this fight will heal him. I don't expect him to go back and do the safety save.
I I think the most safety this guy is going to take is make sure he has a glass hat equipped, and just going straight into this fight. Can't disagree, because this guy has coffins. He is going to be able to go and just tell these dark imps go away.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the glass hat, baconpie found another one.
baconpie is going to have a lot of good equipment, but baconpie is he's cleared Zot. nitzguy is currently clearing the way underground, is going to be gaining access to the underground before baconpie even sees who the boss is. That's going to be a bit harsh for baconpie, just because that's a lot of time to just give to nitzguy. If nitzguy finds the Baron key in the Famarch chest, that is a free. That's nitzguy's going to go and have his crystal pretty soon, I'm guessing.
Yeah, while baconpie did find a Master Moon there, so not a complete waste of time.
It's extra power, but there are the ninja swords for sale, but that's also 132,000 gold that baconpie doesn't have to spend. Well, 66,000 gold that baconpie doesn't have to spend that nitzguy did.
And depending on how fast the seed is, he's got to find sirens here. May need that money for hourglasses to do a dragon grind without that Tella.
Yep, there's either do a dragon grind or go and do an egg grind and have extra sirens. This is going to be, there's still a lot of money to go out, and our runners are going to want as much as they can. This guy is hitting the chest on the way out, peeked the top of the lower Tower of Babel, and found Antlion there. So, kind of an annoying boss. That's actually something that would make me want to do something cheeky, like go and find drain spears in a shop to throw with those edges.
Did get a shuriken right there, peeking that chest.
Shurikens are good money. So nitzguy, being the first runner underground at just under 44 minutes, where do you go, nitzguy?
Sheila won.
Not the worst choice. It's a free check. nitzguy might feel that he's a bit behind because he might feel that he's done a bit of extra looting. Granted, every race I feel behind, so I can definitely sympathize with nitzguy.
That's my secret. I always race like I'm behind. Because I usually am.
I don't go and believe I'm not behind until I hit the dot done and the race bot tells me I'm first place. And even then, sometimes I don't really believe it.
With nitzguy's power, the gear, this seed has been very generous with gear. Dwarf Castle is more than free enough with Octomammoth in there. We got a free check here in Famarch. Could see maybe some nice bosses. We still have a King Queen Evelyn that could be down here. We still have Baron Guards that could be down here. While they could be punchy, we do have glass hats.
Yeah, our Restreamers making in chat saying I've gotten panned from Famarch chests too many times to not check that first. I definitely agree. I will always go and hold off on checking the Sheila going down the Sylph Cave until I find a pan. Like you said, Dwarf Castle is going to be pretty open. I would try and pal him up to Warp to do Dwarf Castle first, just because I have Sirens, and having that would go and be really convenient. Checking this chest is also good because it is a free check. It is a pass. We are now literally one key item away from go mode.
I didn't catch what nitzguy's Palom was, level-wise. If Palom is 26, 27, get enough XP from those two Dwarf Castle bosses.
You can, as long as the Dwarf Castle bosses give full experience. Like, all that are at the top of Zot, it gives reduced experience. Or if it's Golbez, which we did see at the top of Ordeals, it gives reduced experience. There are a number of fights that can give you reduced experience that I would go and hedge my bets and just do a Siren or two to guarantee. Yeah, Palom's at 27. He's 2 levels away from War.
It's 2 eggs. That's easily doable, unless maybe nitzguy gets a little cheeky and we got some nice Famarch bosses here.
Yeah, if we can get some free
Well,
there's a freebie.
That's honestly 2 freebies.
Mylon Z can be rude. Mylon Z can actually punch. Mylon and friends, not so much.
Mylon Z in the Asura spot, though?
I always respect the damage of the Asura spot. It's not the worst, but it still can be pretty rude. King Queen Evelyn, however, this is a cutscene from the vanilla game, a cutscene boss from the vanilla game, where Edge, upon getting through Upper Babel and getting ready to confront Rubicon, is first confronted by his two parents, horribly transfigured by the very, very evil Dr. Luge. And they cast some Fire 2 spells, and then they come to their senses and realize they do not wish to continue to be monsters.
Edge having to watch his parents fall to the abyss. At least he'll have somebody who will be able to relate with him.
And we'll see what heirloom they're leaving for our party today.
There's Warp.
There's Warp, no need to grind, so that's definitely going to be a favorite point for nitzguy. Well, normally in the vanilla game, Edge gets angry. Kane apparently is the one who's going to go and get really angry with that Avenger. The Avenger is a great sword that does pretty good damage. It gives +10 to strength and agility, but it also automatically berserks anyone who's holding it. It is fantastic for just putting on your Kane and letting him just automatically attack. And we can go and do something called the Avenger glitch, where if you change someone's equipment mid-combat and put on the Avenger, exit out of the item menu, and before you get the chance to go and input a command, you let the Berserk take over, they still go and act as if they have the stats of the weapons that they switched off. So you can go and get some, say, defense or damage with the auto Berserk of the Avenger.
Yeah, and with the White Spear, Mylon Z, if it is in that service spot, is floating, so getting extra damage there.
Very true.
Doesn't stack with the holy damage, though. I always forget that.
Nope, that is something that you can only exploit one element and one racial. You can stack elemental and racial damage, which is why if you ever hit Mylon Z with a crystal sword, you will probably do 10,000 damage. Because the crystal sword is both holy damage, and it goes and hits the undead type. And those two things together is enough to go and just completely and utterly destroy any undead enemy that's weak to holy.
Baconpie making his way through, hasn't found the Mad Ogre chest yet. This guy doing some shopping, fighting with the inventory boss.
The inventory boss is a very terrible and cruel boss. It's claimed many a time. Selling a Moonveil as well. I forgot about that Moonveil. That is something that would definitely go and let you get through a Mylon Z very freely. Moonveils go and apply the barrier status, which makes you functionally immune to any punch. Physical attacks will still do damage if they're not a just normal punch, but punches will simply miss you.
Would have been nice for the Antlion fight too, although I'm sure nitzguy will probably outlevel the rudeness of that fight.
Yeah, and discovering that the meat knives are in fact stronger than middle swords, I believe the middle swords do have better accuracy than meat knives, so that 3 attack power might go and come into play, but ooh, a blue robe here. Are we going to see 1 or 3 blue robes?
Come on, 3 blue robes. Just the good time to answer a question, chat. White arrow and a bow will hit Mylon Z and exploit both weaknesses. That will exploit flying and the racial.
Yes, it will go and do considerably more damage. White arrows, however, also have a base attack power of about 10, so even with an Artemis bow, you'll probably only be doing a few thousand points of damage. But it's still a few thousand points of damage, and if you're going in not doing that much with, say, samurai arrows, it's definitely an upgrade. Here we find the Water Hag fight. The Water Hag is another scripted fight where Edward, after lamenting the loss of Anna in the vanilla game, is out in Kaipo while Rosa is recovering from the Sand Ruby treatment. And a Water Hag springs out of the bushes. He goes and attacks him 3 times, and that is the trigger to go and finish off the fight while Anna goes and gives encouragement to Edward from beyond. Here we now have the second fight, which we know is the Octomam fight that Baconpie saw on the top of the Tower of Zot.
Now, Octomammoth is strong. Not that it's really a big deal at this spot. Hello, Sid. Is strong to Holy because they wanted the Dark Knight Cecil in the vanilla game to do a little extra damage with darkness weapons, and the only way they could think to do that was make them weak to darkness and strong to Holy.
Yes, and Dark Knight Cecil is the only source of dark damage in the entire game, which is a bit disappointing because it'd be nice to go and do dark damage to Octomam with, say, a character who's actually useful. And for those of you thinking, wait, there's darkness arrows. Darkness arrows don't do dark damage. They just go and do blind, which doesn't even work in this game.
So misleading.
It really is. I went and got them for a bit and then learned that crushing truth, and it was just, really? Really? These darkness arrows aren't even... Game, you're killing me, game.
You buy them from Dwarf Castle, they don't even have a legal department for you to raise a complaint about.
I don't know. Did anyone check Job Dwarf today?
Neither runner has been to Tamra. Well, baconpie hasn't got to the underground yet.
True. And here we see Hallam going and casting Warp. This is taking us back to the room we were just in, which is actually at the back of Sealed Cave, where in the vanilla game this would be a Darkness Crystal. Here it's just a package, not going to go and be anything for runners, as it's not an objective. There's a character and a boss there, and you're probably not going to do it because there's a lot of cutscenes, and the only boss you would care about is Mist Dragon, who we've already defeated.
Unless you're doing a door grind, which that Luca key just now enabled.
Safety.
It's in logic. That package is in logic.
Safety, please. Stop giving us vanilla items. And we see baconpie is opted to use a hourglass and is berserking up his team to just get through the dark items with damage.
I'm not sure baconpie bought too many coffins, so might be saving them for later grind. Also, maybe wanting to possibly get some life glitches off here.
Maybe, that's a fair point. I believe nitzguy did that as well, as he went and queued up a coffin, queued up a life potion, which when you go and cast life on an enemy, you see the spell go off, but you don't see an enemy come back. That's because they are coming back with 0 HP. Life spell works by going and taking your vitality stat, multiplying it by 5, and going to give you that many HP once you are revived. If you have 0 vitality, it tries to revive you, it successfully revives you, and then you instantly die with 0 HP. And if you want to know if that works on your team as well, the answer is yes. If you have tried, I have gone and had a Viridia at 0 HP and tried to revive her in the middle of combat, only discovered that the curse ring I put on managed to bring her down to exactly 0 vitality, and she decided not to get up from that life potion.
I think that's happened to all of us at some point, thinking we were so clever putting that curse ring on that low-level Viridia.
You know what the real clever play is? When you do it on purpose, revive Viridia out of combat so she has 0 HP out of 100 HP, but her text is white instead of gray, and make her cast Warp in the Lunar Subterrane.
This guy found the Magma key, not progression from Sheila 1. So this guy is presented with an interesting choice. Go take on that Mylon spot in the Feymarch, Keyless Tower, or Zot.
All of those can be pretty annoying fights. And of the three, which one are you most fond of?
If I'm Nitzguy's position, I'm probably going up Zot because I'm right there next to it.
Feeling Keyless Tower, to be honest, because sure, it's annoying, but it's not as annoying as the Assura spot, and Zot is 2 bosses, so that would go and drive me to Keyless Tower.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. The Keyless Tower play is where baconpie would probably be going, knowing that, you know, having already completed Zot. But I'm also not a great runner, so...
There's a lot of things that can go and get shifted in. It looks like nitzguy swing froze for a minute and is back now. That might go and change the timing slightly for us. Because we are on a 15-minute delay. All of our runners are going and running with a delay as part of the tournament rules. So if you have options turned on, it will go and prevent you from dropping, and then anything that wasn't going to be coming out for a bit will go and just be added and increase the delay a bit more. So we'll be going in being very careful on the official times when we go and are at the end of the race.
Yeah, so I don't think Nitzguy looted anything on the way down to the Feymarch. If he did, I missed it completely. Baconpie just found ninja jammies and another glass helmet. I think he has 5 glass helmets now.
I think Ninja Pie has a lot of things he can sell for a lot of money. But I think Baconpie is also kind of overlooting at this point. He has a lot of good things. The more you loot, the more you find, sure. But then there just comes to the point of there's fewer things for you to find that are actually helpful. And I'm guilty of this plenty of, it's money, it's stuff, I want it, and hey, it's another it's a white spear for a king that can only hold one weapon.
Chat, I know he said Ninja Pie, but really, look at Baconpie's party. He can pretty much consider himself the Ninja Pie at this point.
Words are hard, okay? Look at white spears. White spears, defense swords, we're finding multiples of a lot of these items, to be entirely honest. There's a lot of love for Kane as Nitzguy finds another defense sword himself.
And Zeus gauntlets in the Road to the Feymarch.
The Zeus gauntlets are really nice. Those go and give plus 10 strength to whoever wears them. Also gives giant resistance, which is kind of nice in certain circumstances, but is a bit niche. And we see Nitzguy is going to take on that Antlion at the top of the tower. I'm curious how they're going to be dealing with this. I wonder if we're going to see some very expensive weapons getting thrown away.
And there goes that defense sword. And lightsaber.
Such good weapons. Not useful for this team, and yep. Antlion will go and counterattack any fight command with a counter, but you can still do other forms of physical damage without that. Or you can just say, nah, I don't really care too much about those counters. Let's soak them and let's just get some damage go.
Question, chat, about how long an average run? It depends on the flag sets. For these group flags, we're seeing anywhere between 1.5 to 2 hours, I believe, is the average.
Yep, that's a pretty fair average. That's a very, very reasonable time frame to go and expect for these races to go. Hour and a half is probably the median for my seeds for my runs on this flag set, but changing the flags will go and change it. So when we get to the table stage, we'll probably see a lot more runs edge closer to that 2 hour or more line.
Yeah, the tables flags, while similar, have enough differences to where your entire strategy will change.
Yeah. For a bit of perspective, Nitzguy only has 3 spots to check on the Earth, and he is going to find either the Darkness Crystal or the Path to Darkness Crystal in there. Those spots being this Antlion fight at the top of Lower Babel he's completed, the Queen spot in... Smafety, do I have to yell at you again? This is another vanilla key item. We already had vanilla characters in Zot, we already had the vanilla Luca key, now we got a vanilla tower key?
Did Dathis hack Smafety's account? Do we need to check on that?
Did you let Dathis go and touch your keyboard or something? This is too much vanilla. Well, that tower key goes and opens up this room in the tower. This is the super cannon room. Oh my goodness. Well, who is this? Is this Wyvern? Oh my goodness. Story about this. A story in 3 parts. A tragedy, a comedy, and then a sense of relief. Wyvern is probably one of the meanest bosses in the game. He opens with Mega Nuke. Mega Nuke is a really powerful spell that it doesn't take a lot of magic power to do thousands of damage and just completely destroy your party. The spot is a very weak spot. This is where the Dark Imps normally are. The Dark Imps, if you guess, are imps in the underground. They're not very strong, so they're not very fast, and they're not very powerful, and they don't have much HP, so that 900 damage probably killed them over by twice. But you still had this guy probably had a small heart attack when he saw that Wyvern, as he had not saved after completing Antlion, and it was at a very noticeable risk of dying to that fight.
Baconpie did save, heading right into that King Queen Evelyn. See if Nitzguy's keyless tower play will pay off here.
Yeah, the tower key from the top is a pretty rude thing, just because a lot of people will go and choose to avoid doing tower just because well, I want to go and wait until I have the tower key to get both checks out of the way. And you will never find the tower key until you go to the tower. Ooh, just a pink tail, so tower not paying out too much, but that does get Nitzguy to 10 key items. He can just grind as far as he wants now. If he wants to go and take his party up to Z levels, that might not be the worst thing because he just has 2 things left, and we know that one of them is a white shirt. So the path to the moon is behind the Mylon fight in Feymarch.
And if I'm baconpie, I've got 5 glass hats at least, 4 at least. I'm putting all of them on, and I'm taking that fight.
If you had wizard hats, you can go and double your undead defenses. Same
Right.
with a crystal rib as well. Hi, I'm Bakashinobi. I know all sorts of random tidbits about this game because I like to be a walking encyclopedia sometimes. I may or may not open up FF4Kster to look at the all the item description, in-game item details that you don't see until board phase added in the option to press select and see the details of equipment.
One of the best quality of life changes ever in a game.
There is so much information hidden in this game that you don't get a chance to see until after. Just you have to go to an outside source.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, for baconpie, this is the play right here that gets him back into this race.
Yes, though he might go and be concerned about the other, like the Dwarf Castle check. He might be concerned about Tower just because this is darkness, or this is a path to darkness. If this is Barren to darkness, this definitely gets baconpie back into this because then he can go and complete Barren Castle, get to that basement, and is on his way. If this is darkness or something else that leads to darkness without being Barren Key or giving him a legend sword, he might go and be spending some more time on Earth just to avoid going to the moon because he might be thinking, well, there's a lot of checks here. I can go and find other objectives. I want to go and keep on this.
Could also still be the pan.
Yeah, the pan could go and give both options. It could give darkness and it could give Barren Key. And meanwhile, Nitzguy is just simply grinding up a boatload of levels. He is going and taking his team to... I don't know if we're going to see him stop soon. He's level 45. That's usually Z levels. With Rosa, you might want to take her over 2000 HP. That is not going to go and take too much.
Chat pointing out, baconpie does have the pass. It doesn't even need darkness. Just needs a legend or a Barren Key.
Yep, the pass was in the Feymarch chest, if I'm not mistaken. So both of our runners have that option open to them. They just need one more key in them to get the crystal and get into go mode.
It's like baconpie is playing it safe, having cane jump to get out of the way, getting blinks up, chucking things at this Mylon.
Yep, going into... So Mylon, unlike other enemies, is just something going to go and counter any damage he takes with Lit 1. It's Lit 1, it's something that really doesn't go and cause a lot of concern, but it still does 100 damage at the spot, which can be really unpleasant. Unless you're wearing lightning resist gear, and then it's not doing much damage at all.
Yeah, it's interesting that baconpie didn't slap that Avenger onto the cane.
Yeah, I am surprised that neither of our runners are really going and using that Avenger. I like just having a character go automatically attack. A big advantage of Berserk in this game, aside from the fact it gives plus 50% damage, is that it goes and just automatically takes the character's turn whenever it comes up without requiring you to input. It's very easy to lose turns in this game waiting in menus on your other characters. It is a pan. Baconpie, what are you going to get from that pan?
Check your freebies. Do not go to Dwarf, do not go to Tower. Check your freebies.
I definitely feel that Baconpie has to do that after going and spending so much time on that Mylon fight. And meanwhile, spending a lot of time, speaking of spending a lot of time, Nitzguy is still grinding eggs. He is going to If this guy has to do the moon, he is going to end in some obscenely high levels. Because we could go and have the Baron Key and the Legend Sword gated by fights on the moon. And then we're in for a whole nother hunt.
Yeah, while nitzguy or baconpie would be the first one in the go mode if this leads to either the Baron Key or Legend Sword, nitzguy is going to be doing that Fame Arch check here shortly, if not right now.
Yep.
We'll be hot on his heels, and baconpie still has to grind.
Yep. And baconpie won't have
it is.
items. There's a Darkness Crystal. Sheila 2 can still have the Baron Key or the Legend Sword. Either of those would go and get our runner into go mode, not even need to use that Darkness Crystal. If not, we know that we need to go to the moon and take some fights up there to find one of those two items.
Yeah, I think for baconpie to have a chance here, it has to be the Legend Sword or the Baron Key at Sheila 2, because I do not see him flying right to the moon with those checks still available down in the underground.
Maybe he ends up feeling behind because he's done so much looting and chooses to chase the darkness as a gamble. But I agree, baconpie's best chance is going and getting completing one of his objectives off this check. And meanwhile, nitzguy is going and pressing up is going to get ready for that Mylon and Friends fight. Level
really
51.
Good levels, yeah.
nitzguy is not going to have a hard time in the Mylon and Friends fight, I think. I believe this is going to be noticeably faster than it was for baconpie.
Excalibur.
Just Excalibur. So we know that the objectives are on the moon. baconpie needs to get to the moon as soon as possible, but he has a number of things undone left on Earth. When you open up that track menu, you can see all of the key items you have. All the key items in yellow are ones you have not checked.
I suspect baconpie is going to go do Dwarf Castle here.
Answer a question from chat. There's still Luca. We have the warp glitch on, so when nitzguy went and did Dwarf Castle, when baconpie does Warp Castle, they can go and cast Warp and get the item from the sealed cave by using that instead. That is, I imagine that is a big part of the reason why Palom remains in both teams. And nitzguy is casting Quake. He killed off almost all of the gas. One of the things that doesn't start happening until you kill off all the gas is Mylon will not go and start punching or throwing out lit ones on his own turn. Instead, he would go and command the gas, feed my children, and they go and cast a very tepid drain on all of your characters. Now, Mylon is going to throw out some lit ones, which are lit ones, and punches, which are actually kind of painful, except to nitzguy's party, who is very high level.
baconpie going to be finding that water hag, knows that the command that's behind it. It's going to be an easy 40k.
Yep, that's going to get baconpie. Baconpie almost certainly has warp on Palom at this point, I believe. I didn't check their levels, but completing Fame Arch and Palom living through those fights, he's got to have that. So,
and this will give baconpie 10 key items.
Very good point. That is a very helpful thing to have. There is this guy getting the pan, is going to go and get the Darkness Crystal from the Sylphs, and then we'll go and probably find that Excalibur from Sheila. Having to use an exit compared to going and casting exit, that is because nitzguy, having not done the Tower of Zot, does not have exit on Rosa, as the only time Rosa learns exit is upon the completion of Tower of Zot.
Now, the one thing in baconpie's favor, if he does not do the keyless tower check, they'll both be going to the moon at the same time. Nitzguy's going to clear it faster. There's a couple different ideologies. There's top down, there's bottom up. On terms of, where do you clear the moon? You only need one key item, Baco. Do you go top down or do you go bottom up?
I'm a big fan of just go for density. Bottom up, you can go and hit the ribbon spot, which has 2 checks in one fight. And then there's 2 other fights reasonably nearby, 1 more fight not too far away. you're probably going to get one of your 2 key items. The worst situation would be you can only find the Baron key, and because the Baron key goes and gates the Legend Sword, so there's only one item to actually find on the moon.
Worst case scenario, you find the spoon and the twin harp.
The twin harp is incredibly rude because the twin harp is what we call a fetch quest. It goes and gates another key item, and you can't tell what it is until after you go and do it. Which, if you find it on the moon, that can be a gamble your opponent makes. Go follow the chain from the moon. It turns into a Baron key or a twin harp or a Legend Sword, and you're definitely. It's a big gamble to make just because it's a long check.
Rudest thing I think is that Baron key gated behind the twin harp and Legend Sword is behind Baron key.
That would definitely be the rudest thing that can happen to Runners at this point. That would be almost assuredly. It would be a functional 17 out of 17. If the Legend Sword is at the basement throne in Baron, that ends up being very rude.
If I was a betting person, and from what Safety has done to us already tonight, I'd bet on the exact opposite. The first check is going to be the go mode.
Yep. And nitzguy is going up the Tower of Zot, only going to get a white room from here. I don't hate this play for nitzguy, even though we know it's not the correct one, because you only need 1 key item. Leaving something on Earth that your opponent might have checked is a big, big vulnerability. It's going to cost nitzguy time. It's going to let baconpie catch up. But I definitely respect this play from nitzguy.
Yeah, nitzguy's going to make short work of this.
Yeah, nitzguy has nuke. Nitzguy is not going to go and... this is not going to be a set of fair fights. This is going to be a set of fights where nitzguy walks in and takes all their lunch money.
It's interesting that baconpie is still looting.
Yeah, that... I believe I said this before, but what does baconpie actually need? I don't think... baconpie has 100 and now 120,000 gold after buying 10 hourglass 2s. That is a lot of money to be sitting on. He's upgrading from a black robe to a sorcerer robe. There's no actual improvement in black magic stats. It goes and gives a bit more defense, but the loot is not what's going to go and improve the power of baconpie's team at this point. It would be going and grinding sirens at 10 key items and just getting levels. Not many options left, and baconpie going and checking. I believe they only have the keyless tower left on Earth, and they are going to start grinding here, it seems.
Yeah, and knowing that you're going to be doing moon bosses, I would probably only do maybe 3 or 4 eggs.
Yeah, I will only get up to level, early 40s. The worst thing that happens, you have 10 hourglass 2s. You can go on the moon and just take an additional grind there if you need to. Just pop a siren in the lunar subterranean to get a double gold dragon fight, throw an hourglass to stop them, and then berserk up for the double gold dragon fight.
Yeah, I would have popped the Avenger on Kane for this and just let him swing away.
I do not disagree. I like the Avenger. Kane's actually not doing a lot of damage. I thought not even 1,000 damage with that defense sword. I wonder what equipment Kane has. Here's the ultimate question for nitzguy. Do you go and dump an edge to pick up this fresh Kane that's not leveled? I think I just answered my own question. No, you do not want to pick up an unleveled character when you have level 52 characters.
Yeah, not when you have the whole moon to do.
I would only consider taking a fresh character if I wanted an anchor.
This guy also has Porm in the bed, and I believe Nitzguy actually checked that to know that there's a, base level Porm waiting in Kaipo.
Yeah, he does have nuke on Palm, so I guess he doesn't really need to worry too much about agility anchoring. He can just simply do a ton of damage. And here he is finding the dolls, is going to either pass turns and... Oh, gonna go and cast Flame, gonna go and cast some ninja spells to try and take care of this. Fun fact, Mute Knife, in addition to doing bonus damage to mages, also gives +5 wisdom, which is the stat that is used for all black magic. Well, all magic except for white magic, to be entirely honest. Ninja spells count as black magic, they're just, titled differently.
What do ninja spells and agility manipulation have in common? They're both black magic.
Technically, so is summoning as well. The game only codes 2 types of magic, black magic and white magic. Going in and looking around in FM4 Caster goes and gives you all sorts of weird insights.
Nitzguy about to be rewarded with his white robe. Baconpie is still making omelets.
Yeah, and Nitzguy now knows he needs to go to the moon. Again, I can definitely understand this play just because leaving something on the Earth and going to the moon and gambling on that is something that can really hurt you, as the Earth checks are much faster than the moon. The moon will give you more checks, but if your opponent chose to go a different way and hit something on the Earth rather before you went to the moon, and you can't rely on just finding everything you need, you can go and have 1 or 2 different things you need. That makes it really risky to leave things on the Earth.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping that Baconpie doesn't make that keyless tower dive.
Yeah, Baconpie they're getting close to the levels that Nitzguy has. I think they're only 1 or 2 eggs off. Rosa just learned white. Palin is probably close to level 49 or so.
It is 49. I'd go. I mean, I would have, like we both agreed, I would have went at 43. You're gonna get a ton of XP. If I'd go to the ribbon room, that's 200 XP as long as it's not split.
Yeah, and there are still free fights around. Yes, we saw the. I might be missing C's. I think we saw the. Oh, no. I'm thinking of a different C that was happening just before this one I was watching. We have not seen Officer Soldier fight, and if I'm not mistaken, we have not seen Baron Guards. Those are 2 free fights that can be up on the moon. Bahala is out. Dark Imps are out. Water Hag is out. King Queen Evelyn are out. So there's a good number of free bosses out, but there's still plenty of free bosses in play.
A lot of rude bosses still in play. We still have the Alt Gauntlet. Alt Gauntlet on the moon, no, not fun. We have Dark Knight Cecil still available. Valvalis.
Hey, Nitzguy finds Bacchus wines. Alright, looks like Baconpie is done. He is level mid-50s on all of his characters as well. That is going to be a very, very high-powered team. His Palom has Nuke. That is going to be a very big source of damage. Where does Baconpie go?
Looks like he is heading to the moon.
Alright, if we're going in the keyless tower, we know that it's just going to end in a pink tail. Definitely good for him. And just going to be a bit behind Nitzguy now, who finds a second Palom on the moon. I would only take this Palom if I wanted to commit very hard to Berserker strats and have a fresh anchor.
But that Gallum is only looking for the precious. He's small. He's almost Hobbit-like.
The Golem is not invited to these parties because he keeps going and trying to steal all of the shinies. And it looks like Nitzguy is doing the play I would make. He is going down to the bottom of the lunar subterranean. There is the disadvantage of this is about a 3-minute walk, so Baconpie does have, if Baconpie goes top down, there are key items he can steal from the top that will go and be faster than this walk. But Nitzguy does go and having completed Zot, he does have exit on Rosa. Alright, hear me out. Could Nitzguy have done Tower of Zot because he feared he'd lose time if he didn't have enough exits? So he went and did...
Yeah, actually, because we have not seen exits in any shops.
Nitzguy had a few. He had 3 or so when I saw him exit Feymarch. but I don't know if he had any left. And if your choice between doing a key item check or going that will give your only white mage exit, or going to a shop and buying exits, I can see that going and waiting, and baconpie is choosing to go into Cave Leviathan.
Oh, man.
Cave Mahop, right. I'm apparently tired today.
Nah, this is a really interesting divergence right here.
Nitzguy is going to be getting into a fight that gives 2 key items. baconpie is going to be getting into a faster check that only gives 1, but he didn't have to walk as far. Ooh, when we find Mom Bomb here.
Ooh. You have to take it, baconpie. Do not fade that.
Yeah, Pain Man there. Pain Man is going to hurt. This is going to be a very easy fight for White too. But with a White Mage and the amount of HP baconpie has, he will probably be able to get through this, turning down his battle speed very low. I hope baconpie has some good potions as well. And meanwhile, this guy finds Mom Bomb here. Just gonna punch will eventually gonna get to a phase where he starts trying to go and turn into a bunch of other bombs, but if you lay on enough damage, you can go and just completely outdo that phase. And these dark waves coming out for 1,000 damage each. Tier 4 is going to be enough to go and keep the party alive, and only Palom will go down after another 2. So baconpie should be able to get through this.
As this guy got through the Mom Bomb.
Longer walk, actually having to go and chew through the HP, but he's going to get...
There's the Legend Sword.
Nitzguy now is in go mode, just needs to come back to the earth, and even if baconpie finds the Baron Key here, they will have to go and do a longer check. They will need to go and do Baron Castle. Nitzguy is in the driver's seat, exiting out, going to the whale.
Spoon too.
That spoon is going to be pretty handy.
It's a good 10,000 damage off of Zeromus. Sometimes forgettable.
It's I am definitely guilty of forgetting to throw my spoon just because I'm thinking of getting berserks up and whatnot. But Nitzguy definitely in the driver's seat. Only thing baconpie can get here that will go and be close to helpful is a Baron Key, and gets a Leviathan. How did it? Apparently my slip of the tongue is prophetic, as that really was the Cave of Leviathan, because that's where that summon was.
Yeah, and that's not a bad play to go there first. You got to think that, you know, people are going to probably dive the moon, go for the value in the ribbon room. You got to hope it's not there. It just didn't fall that way for baconpie in this one.
Yeah, that's very easy to go, and top down is a very valid strategy. Going to Cave Bahamut is a very valid strategy. Nitzguy finding all sorts of things worth buying in that Kikol shop. So the Kikol shop randomly goes and gets 4, somewhere between tier 4 and tier 6 items for sale, and he rolled power shirts, Zeus gauntlets, and 2 other things that are not power shirts and Zeus gauntlets, because that's the only thing I have eyes for.
Ribbon and life staff.
Yeah, I'm seeing the Zeus gauntlets getting purchased. I'm pretty sure there's a reason why.
Strengthening does what? 3 strength?
Strengthening does 5. The rune rings do 3 to the casting stats.
Yeah, those Zeus gauntlets definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, plus 10 is a pretty big upgrade. The plus 15 from the power shirts is also nothing to sneeze at as well. Also, fun fact about Edge. He, every 4 strength gives you 1 attack power. With Edge, every 4 strength gives him 1 attack power per weapon.
Yeah, I'm with chat here. Sell everything. Get power shirts on everybody. Get ribbons on your casters.
I think we've had enough of a fire sale. Nitzguy has a level 52 team, and he has Nuke on Palom. Nitzguy doesn't need more damage. Nitzguy needs to go and say hello to Zeromus and introduce him to all the sharp objects he would like to go and pretend that he's going and experience letting Zeromus experience the cosplay of being Julius Caesar on the Ides of March.
Real quick before we start seeing these weird flags, baconpie took that moon power.
Looks like baconpie is going to go and anchor then. Anchoring is going to be something that helps out. The agility formula is based on the middle character or Cecil if they're in your party on these flags. And that calculation can be very complicated, so I'm not going to go and talk about that. Instead, Z flags. This means we're heading to the Zeromus fight as we randomize all the other bosses, but Zeromus doesn't get let out of his prison. We really don't want to go and annoy Fusoya today. So instead, we don't go and change anything about him. He's the same fight from Vanilla, with one small exception. He's a little ugly and just needs to go at a bit of a makeover sometimes. So let's see whose butt we're kicking tonight.
450 different variations, majority of them done by the wonderful Scala-Kitty. I've not seen a bad one.
I've seen a lot of good ones, and I agree. I haven't seen one that's like, oh, really? Even ones that are really? I laugh at.
Got it. This guy's got his edge in the middle. I didn't see what Edge's agility was, but
it is 43. Ooh. Well, that goes and is going to make Zeromus relative agility 3, which is favorable. The really low agility, below 27. Oh my goodness.
Quick, someone tell me what this is from.
This is from The Simpsons.
I know.
For those of you who haven't. Scala, I'm curious. Scala, did you go and have to draw this? Or did you have to, or were there sprites somewhere that you could go and acquire? But we say we have makeovers. We have. This is definitely a makeover.
Can't ever remember which one's Kang and which one's Kodos.
Oh, you can tell better than I can. I have not watched this for years.
This guy's got his fighters berserked up. I don't know who has a wall, if any.
Also, Scala-Kitty in chat saying, I had to cut them out of a screenshot and then downscale for the SNES, so not a simple sprite rip, definitely something that required a bit of work, and I appreciate it.
Kudos to you, Scala-Kitty.
This guy's gone and nerfed the first Big Bang, and that is, there were no triple digits of damage dealt there, I think, so we're in very safe position.
Yeah, with the levels, this guy's gonna make short work of this duo.
I don't know if we're gonna see a second Big Bang, to be entirely honest. We might be able to go and skip that with. It looks like his berserkers are going and pulling out. Oh, right, we are on a slightly more fair agility, so we can't go. I kind of know the math for how much damage I need to do and skip Big Bangs with a relative agility 1 setup. With a more fair setup, it's not as easy for me.
I just I berserk them up and let them go burr.
Yeah, Big Bangs can top out at 2,700 damage before magic defense is applied. But Rosa is rocking a white shirt and a silent staff, and I believe a rune ring as well. I don't think we're going to see any of our corners go down. I think the worst thing that can happen is a Big Bang Intermedio, and I think it's going to be a very, very unlikely scenario that even that takes out this team.
Yeah, it would probably have to be something freakish.
It is definitely going. Level 53 is a very solid level for the Z team. Rose is just going and throwing off a Cure 4, probably in preparation for a Big Bang that didn't end up coming, so I think we're pretty close to the end of this.
Is baconpie found at the wyvern spot, the CPU?
That is a rather annoying boss fight because you can't go and just berserk up your party members because you kill both the attacker and defender node. CPU starts casting a wonderful spell called Globe 199, which is a really high magic power. It doesn't take a lot of magic power for that spell to do quad 9 damage. I think the lowest damage I've seen is at the wyvern spot. It did 2,000 or 3,000 damage against the Fusoya who had some dodges. Or 1,000 to 2,000 damage. It's pretty much guaranteed to kill your party members.
Yeah, and I don't think we found any edge boomerangs to back row glitch them, so they're doing some lower end damage to the CPU, but getting through it.
And speaking of getting through it, we are in media phase. This is the signal that we are in the last 12,000 HP of Zeromus. nitzguy is almost through this fight. And there is the crumble. nitzguy has finished in first place with an official time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 34 seconds. GG to nitzguy. Let's see if he is interested in an interview.
Very well executed Zeromus fight. Pretty textbook. As baconpie found the Baron Key at the Crystal Sword Altar.
Oh, that is really unfortunate for baconpie. He's seen the dot-done come in, so he can think that this is just going to be the way in, and isn't going to know until either the interview or the spoiler log that the Legend Sword is at the ribbon spot, which is that's a lot of people's first check for the simple fact that it gives 2 key items.
And we're joined in the booth by nitzguy. nitzguy, GG.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That was definitely quite the seed. When you saw the second Kane at the Tower of Zot, were you tempted to go and take him even though you leveled up all your characters already?
I considered it, but then I thought to myself, I said, okay, I've got 2 edges, got a Kane, got a Palom, got a Rosa. Things seem to be okay, and even though agility was 43 and everything was fast there, I wasn't too worried just because I had more than enough hit points to survive any shenanigans that may have occurred.
Yeah. Go ahead, BadKarma.
I was gonna say, with 3 berserkers claiming up that queue, you didn't seem to be having really any issues.
No, I was a little worried that Z might be a little bit fast, but it seemed to go pretty textbook. There was 1 big bang into Medio. I had Palom on chemist duty. I was gonna wall him up, and then I said to myself, I got 3 berserkers. I'm just gonna let them just go to town, and Palom can throw some Cure 3s if needed.
It was certainly a safe fight for you. You really tore that poor Zeromus down.
Well, thank
How
you.
were you when you were getting through to the underground? How were you feeling when you saw the Dark Imps? Did you have any fear of the Tower of Zot having a Magma key before you went and committed to that Dark Imps fight?
I was worried that perhaps Tower of Zot would have a Magma key, and that might potentially put me behind, but I was committed to hook route, and I didn't think I had the levels, especially with it being the Dark Imps at the top. I could use coffins, so that fight wasn't very difficult. It would have been whoever was at King Queen Evelyn, which was
Luge.
Dr. Luge, which wouldn't be difficult in that position. So at that point, even if I had lost some time to having the Magna Key at Zot, it wasn't that difficult of a path through. So that's why I sort of faded Zot until the end there.
I was entirely fair. And at the end, were you concerned that it would go and have one of your objectives? Or were you just trying to be thorough before avoiding and trying to avoid the moon as much as possible?
I was just trying to avoid the moon. None of the objectives were on the moon, and I was just saying to myself, I said, okay, even though I know this Fey March is probably a zonk, let's go ahead and do it anyways, because I'm either looking for A, Baron Key, or B, a Legend Sword. So I had 2 potential key items to go mode, and I had already had the pass, so either one of them would have been good enough. Turns out they were on the moon.
So in that situation, what's your philosophy going into that moon? Do you obviously chose bottom up to go to that ribbon room. Is that typically your choice?
That's typically my choice. I said to myself, I'm looking for key items. What's the greatest density? It is a bit of a walk down there, but once you get there, there's the 2 there in the ribbon room. There's the white spear room. There's the Mazamun spot, not far from there. So there are about four key items potentially within that spot, and knowing what I had left and knowing how many key items were, like how many boss checks I still had to make, it was pretty good odds that it was going to be one of them was going to be in there. I was hopeful it was Legend Sword and not the Baron Key, just to save myself some extra time. But even if it had been the Baron Key, I would have exited out and completed that.
Yeah, as you were doing that fight in the ribbon room, baconpie was doing the Bahamut fight, which was the Pain Man.
Oh wow, that's a pretty spicy spot for Pain Man there.
Yeah, Baron Key ended up being at the Crystal Sword altar, which baconpie just finished up the Baron Key basement. I
see. I'm glad I faded that then. Usually I will fade those other checks, for better or for worse.
Well, you did make the keyless tower dive that didn't really pay out for you. You got a pink tail. That was one that baconpie faded completely. Then that's how you guys got so close there towards the end. He hit them in about 40 seconds behind you.
Oh wow.
So it was pretty close. It's just, rando's gonna rando, and you made the right play, and baconpie made an equally good play. It just didn't pay out.
Oh, well, congratulations to baconpie. He was obviously an amazing opponent, and I couldn't have asked for anybody better. And just wanted to give a quick shout out to everybody there, to you, Baka and BadKarma in the booth, to Couch pushing the buttons behind the scenes, to Snape D who rolled this Springfield Tire Fire. Shoutouts to Scala for the amazing Kangen Kodo Z sprite. I love that. And moved to 1-1 and still stay alive.
Yeah, as you said, you were 1-1. Next week is going to be a big week for you. That is that's a do or die week to go and try and get into the playoffs. How are you feeling going into that next week?
I'm feeling all right. I need to get in a little more practice, which I'll do hopefully this week. But again, another do or die. The people who are 1-1 are all amazingly good. So I could be paired up against anyone. And like you guys say, rando's going to rando and anything can happen. I can only hope for the best.
Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me, and thank you to RPG Limit Break for allowing me to show off my abilities to the people at large.
Yeah, thank you for letting us restream the race. It wouldn't have a show without you as well.
My pleasure. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
You too. GG once again.
Bye-bye.
Yes, GG's. And with that, we are now going and seeing baconpie getting into the Zeromus fight after completing the Baron basement that he found with the was able to get access to with the Baron key found at the Crystal Altar. So going to be going into their Z fight now, and I expect they're going to have a similar, if not slightly faster fight, as their Zerkers are going to be a bit faster compared to Zeromus.
Yeah, with that level 10 Palom Anchor, these Zerkers are going to be swinging fast and swinging hard.
Yes, the agility, as I mentioned previously, the agility in this game is based off of an anchor where to go and keep things interesting, so you're not just waiting a long time in the beginning of the game or having extremely fast turns in the late game, how often your turns come up is based on, well, the agility of your middle character or Cecil in the base game. Here we went and it's defaulted to, if you don't have Cecil, it's defaulted to see the middle character on these flag sets. And you can only be 5 times faster than the middle character, or the agility anchor, which only requires 2.5 times agility. Once you have gone and hit that point, you're acting as fast as possible. If you have 69 agility and your anchor has 43, that goes and maths out to being every 3 ATB ticks you get a turn. If you're 69 agility and your anchor is 8 agility, you're going to be getting one every turn. One turn every ATB tick, which is still a large factor higher than that, more than 2.5 times that 8. What that means also is if you're over 21 agility, you're also going to be going in acting once every ATB ticks, and that is something we're going to see with baconpie's turn at team, as all of them are above 21 agility.
Yep, as baconpie's Palom is taking a nap after that big bang, getting everybody berserked up. This fight will be pretty much on autopilot.
Yeah, this is going to be Zerk the melee fighters cast Cure 4 when they're not at full HP and wait for an opportunity to do one of those two things again. And this is a fight, let's see, we're seeing about 10,000 damage around. 3 to 4,000 damage from the edges. Kane is going to be pulling out some damage as well. Let's see how much. Yeah, about 3,000 damage from Kane. I think we're going to go and see not too many. I don't know if we're going to see a second Big Bang, to be entirely honest. This is something where I mentioned that math previously, and when is baconpie going to go and throw an Artemis Bow on his Rosa and Berserker?
He is.
baconpie going for the quad Berserk, full team controller down. We're going to just watch this team take this fight to the end.
This is the hold A and pray without having to hold A.
This is put down your controller, grab a drink, and enjoy this seed's finale, because, yeah, you're done. If a black hole comes out, which I think is going to be highly unlikely, you'll get control of your characters again after you finish attacking. But this is not going to be too long for Zeromus. And here comes Rox. Not even a second Big Bang into Rox. Rosa dodges. Everyone's still over 1,000 HP, which is what you care about for Rox. And now we're going to go and see Zeromus get cut down, or K-Comus. And there is the crumble. K-Comus is down. baconpie finishes in second place, and I believe we are joined by them now. GG's on your finish, baconpie.
Thank you. GG's.
That was a lot of seed to go through. You went and cleared the entire Earth very efficiently, and then you killed the entire overworld actually before going underground. What were your thoughts when you saw that the Tower of Zot only gave you a white shirt?
I laughed. But I really had to do that check just because this is my 5th race of the tournament so far, and 2 out of the 5 races, I ended up going hook route when I didn't need to. There was a Magma key somewhere else, and I just never got around to finding it for whatever reason. So I did not want that to happen again, so I was going to do every check possible, no matter what. And then it turned out that, Sheila just had it in her pocket the whole time.
Yeah, we're not sure.
Oh, go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, we're not sure where she got the key from, but she was definitely keeping it from you. I didn't hate the Tower's Not play myself. I thought it was a good one at the time. It just didn't, it didn't pan out for you.
Yeah, it was also kind of rough saying goodbye to so many roses in the seed, and then and all those canes too, when I had like just a abundance of the best weapons for Kane. But I was pretty good and set with who I had anyway.
Yeah, how many defense throws and weight spears did you end up seeing? You saw a lot of them.
There were so many. I was just chucking them for no reason at some of the fights, like at Mylon and CPU. They were just inundated with defense swords and white spears, and yeah, it was a bit wild.
That very much so was. You did do an awful lot of looting as well. You had a lot of stuff. Were those things you were specifically going and looking for, or were you thinking of just, I want to go and have as many resources as possible?
I'm just a loot goblin. Every time I get restreamed on a race and I get to the interview, they're like, "You looted a lot." And yeah, I loot a lot. That's what I do. I see the treasure, I get the treasure.
I'm the same way. I see it and I gotta get it.
I know that's not very conducive to speedrunning. You're supposed to stop at some point, but I just can't. Except when I always stop when I'm in go mode, basically.
That is understandable. And I see that you're going and playing the Twin Harp song. The Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Thank you for getting us music, because the Twin Harp was actually the only non-Baron key item Baron key item we didn't. Well, the only key item we did not see that entire seed.
Yeah, I was hoping maybe that, if not Magma, then maybe music could have been at Zot, and I would have been willing to go there. Anything but Hook.
That's highly understandable. When you got to the moon, go ahead, Karma.
I was gonna say it was the same question. It sounds like you're getting to the moon. What makes you decide to go top down instead of bottom up?
I knew I had to leave anyway once I found either the Legend Sword or the Baron Key, so it didn't matter how close I was to the exit when I found the thing, because I would just be using exit with Rosa to get out anyway and heading back to Earth and using the pass. So I just went top down because I don't think the matter ordered at that point, other than the fact that Ribbon Room might have been more condensed check, but I didn't. I just wanted to do top down.
And it's not a bad play. You only need one item. It just so happened that rando's gonna rando, and the Ribbon Room did have the Legend Sword.
Well, I got something. I guess that probably would have been faster than the walking all the way through Baron and all the way back out, but I still got the key item that I needed. I needed 1 of 2, and I got 1 of 2.
You ran a great race. You did really well. Unfortunately, this does make you 0-2, which means you are mathematically eliminated from the tournament. Are you gonna run another race next week?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love this stuff. I never, I was not in this tournament to win it at all. I wanted to do this because it's fun, and I wanted to have fun, and it's a sort of unique experience to do the one-on-one instead of these giant community races with like 20 some odd people where I finished like 87th. Hey, I've consistently finished 2nd for several races in a row. If it was not a tournament, that would be pretty good.
Hey, consistency matters. And speaking of the tournament, how's your experience been with the tournament so far?
Other than running hook route twice for no reason. It was okay. I think I'm cursed with the hook route because in addition to doing it twice when I didn't need to, I'm pretty sure the other 3 seeds were actual hook routes. I'm in the hook route division. I'm cursed with the hook route. I'm like the hook route guy now. I don't want to be the hook route guy, but it's been foisted upon me by RNGesus.
You're not the only one who has gone down a hook route only to discover a magma key somewhere on the overworld, so don't feel alone in that quandary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one time you feel brave enough to say, you know what, I'm just going to dive that hook, I'm not going to go look for the magma key anywhere else, that's when you should have went and looked.
Yeah, exactly. You think, it's probably not in this last check that I skipped, and then the seed just says, yeah, you thought.
The only thing worse than that is when you go through a very rude hook route and full clear the underworld and see a dot down come in and think, all right, well, this time it's going to be my darkness crystal now. And it's not the darkness crystal. The darkness crystal is on that demist in their vanilla location. That's another one that really hurts.
Yeah.
I know, it's hurt me.
I usually check those like the waterfall and the mist cave early-ish in a seed just to avoid that sort of situation, but it showed up at the Antlion, so I didn't need to this time around.
Yeah, that was something that ended up being the only way underground, so you at least didn't have to go and do the check for demyths, go and find the 2 bosses who will be not appearing in the seed.
Man.
But overall, any other final thoughts on this seed?
Well, yeah. If you don't have a uninterruptible power supply in your setup, you need to get one, because this entire run tonight was saved by my UPS, because the outlet that I had everything plugged into just died around right after I did the Murasame altar.
Wow.
My speakers went out. My speakers went out, and I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. Maybe someone noticed I was like going into like the in-game settings and toggling music, and then I noticed that the power light was off, and like, oh, and then I had to, shuffle over and switch the outlet while it was running on the battery backup. If I didn't have that battery backup, I would have been DQ'd right now, because I would have lost, everything, the recording and the run. So yeah, UPSs, buy one.
That's
I was gonna say, I just saw you messing with the volume there, and I thought, well, maybe he's just gearing up for music later.
Yeah, I was not. I was panicking. That was me panicking.
That was a good bit of preparation to have, and a good lesson, a good comment for everyone to take to heart. I'm going to double check mine after this.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Another thing was, turns out Rivers got the last laugh tonight. I tried very hard to put playable Gomez in the game. He never showed up. Nowhere to be found in the seed. Only the non-playable Gomez decided to show himself. We already had him.
Playable Gomez is not in the design scope of Free Enterprise, so it's not unsurprising that he didn't show up.
Yeah. I don't know why Rivers makes such a big deal about it. I did it it was so easy. You just type it in.
Any final thoughts?
That pretty much wraps it up. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Credit to nitzguy, he ran a fantastic race. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the VOD. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun to watch that. Thank you guys, everybody on the restream tonight. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I had a good time. That's all.
Right. Thank you for being restreamed. We wouldn't have a show without you as well, so thank you for that. And looking forward to seeing your match for next week. I hope you go and have a good one.
Yeah, I'm hoping, if I'm lucky, I can get a match against somebody who's like 1-1 or something, so I could play spoiler.
Ah, that would be exciting.
Yeah, but I'll take whatever they'll give me. I'm down for whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thank you. Good night.
Have a nice evening. And that was baconpie, the second place finisher in our race. This is a great race for us this week. This is something that a very nice close race that just came down to the end where we diverted into the final checks, went and really decided this race, unfortunately. Otherwise, close throughout the whole way.
Yeah, and it really was a close race all the way there to the end. Hopefully it was like I said, it was a great race.
Yeah, and if you're looking for more great races, we are going to be sending you off to Free Enterprise. There is another race on that channel that's been going. Please, when you go and should you join the raid, do not spoil the results of the race. Feel free to go and say this was a great race. Just let everyone else experience it fresh for themselves.
Yep, we have another hook route match over there between King Potato 113 and Poor Sight.
Go and give all of them your love, and from us, have a great evening.